Hi guys, so this is actually just a, let's say, semi-planned rambling, because I was right up here testing or getting a little bit more of testing done for the review I'm doing. As you can see the device here, the Dell Ultra Sharp. It is the 3415W. You can see it actually here. Let's quickly show it to you. It's a 34-inch 21:9 ratio display with a resolution of 3440 and 1440p. Yes, that was a total fail. I didn't get it right. And here you can see my usual monitor. As you can see here, quite the crazy effect, because this is the one I'm actually using for usually monitoring the view of myself. So I'm testing that, but I actually wanted to, before I go into the topics, ask you a few things, because if you maybe saw my what was it, the project upgrade video. I'm planning on doing a build and so on, and I have two questions or a few things that I would like to get your input in about the monitor setup. I would like to know what you have in terms of monitor setup, because I right now have a 24-inch, but I don't use that at the PC at all. That is just for monitor the footage of one of my two cams. The 27 is the secondary monitor I usually use for my editing, so at the laptop, and usually the laptop was the main screen where I did the editing. Now with this 34-inch monitor widescreen, I have almost let's say a lot bigger screen real estate, but I'm not quite sure what's better. Just one 34-inch monitor, I'm not quite sure how well that actually works out for me, because I need always a lot of space. I clutter all my things. So one of my perfect solutions would be 34-inch and maybe a 27-inch by its side, because they are the same height. So that would be quite nice, but that's definitely too expensive. Maybe two 27 inches or something like, I really don't know, but what I definitely know, I need at least 1440p, because my 27-inch is only 1080p and everything's just too big on Windows. If Windows could somehow get it smaller, that would be nice, but it doesn't work out, so not an option. That's the one thing. The second thing is the mouse, because right now I bought myself something that I'm not happy with. That is the Logitech G300S, and my issue with it is just way too small. If you can see it, I will maybe make a small little tiny review of it, so not to buy it, because I'm absolutely not happy, and I'm pretty sure I will return it, because what urges me, first of all, the scrolling wheel sounds terrible. I don't know, no, I don't like the sound. And if I just move over the button, do you hear the sound of that? Nah, it doesn't sound good. It's too small. The buttons are completely stupidly placed. As you can see here, they are here and here, and I thought if I hold it like this, I can access them quite easily. But being a lefty, and no, it doesn't work. I usually am used to hitting the thumb buttons on both sides, which I usually can, but I don't like this, so I think I will go for something else. But what I have to mention is, if you give me some recommendations for a mouse, I need at least 8 buttons, so already it is very limited. But the issue for me is I am a lefty, so I need something that is ambidextrous, so not really a whole lot of choice here. I found a few like the Mionics or maybe the Steel series, not quite sure about the name. So I think I will get the Mionics or maybe the Razer Taipan, because that I used already a few Razer mice in my past, liked that one, but I heard the scrolling wheel is very loose, so I'm not so happy about it, because I already had 2 Razer mice and both had a very bad scrolling wheel, and the one actually broke on my old Copperhead. So but I will definitely try those 2. Otherwise, the functionality would be great, because we have 3 profiles we can switch on the fly, get the button arrangement and all that, so that's good. Let's get into that for another review. The second thing I need is a keyboard, because right now I use this, but this is the one I usually use in my living room, so I can't always take that hidden down and upstairs, because I need something stationary. And what I planned, I think I will be getting I think it is called Razer Death Star chiclet, because if you give me suggestions, I need chiclet, because I'm so used to chiclet by now with all the laptops and so on. And I need backlight, and a handrest would be nice. So the Razer Death Star looks quite nice. If it is the Death Star, let me just quickly check so I don't talk any rubbish. It is the Death... No, not... Did I say Death Star? Oh man, that was not right, I think. Wait. Yeah. And if you maybe think this video is totally unprepared, then you are totally right, because it is chiclet. It is the Death Stalker. Now we have it, the Death Stalker. That one looks really nice. Sadly, the cheaper version only has, it says green light, but here in the description it says also blue and red. Not the colors I would like to have, but would work. So if you want to give me suggestions, also it will be a Skylake build. Still looking for what mainboard I should get. Right now it looks like I will get the ASRock something Extreme 4. That one got quite good reviews. Seems to do all fine, because I only need some little bit of overclocking and all the good features. But what I want is USB Type-C, and I want definitely M2 support for the NVMe new SSD storages from Samsung. I definitely want one of these, because crazy fast speeds. But enough of that, let's get into the topics, because I still have some. The one is the Snapdragon 410 is more than the average user needs, because I reviewed already quite a few Snapdragon 410 devices, and what I have to say about it is that is pretty much the best SoC that was released in 410 for the mid-range segment. Because yes, I think in overall, if you see a bit about the best, I think the Exynos in the S6 or Note 5 or so is still the best in overall performance. But if you just see what you get on the 410, you get amazing efficiency, great battery life, especially standby, and also in drain. Performance was solid, very smooth. And if those 410 devices all would have been equipped with at least 2 GB of RAM, there would have almost been no need to buy anything higher, because the 1 GB versions had issues because you still have a limited amount of multitasking capabilities. You still need to reload a lot more than you need with 2 GB. 3 would have been even better, but that's, I think, a little bit of overkill for what you get on the 410. But that would have been nice. But with 2 GB of RAM, and I used it on the HTC Desire 626, which had a little bit of build issues, but the performance was absolutely nice. And I think the Moto G Generation 3, if I finally get it, will be even better because of the maybe slightly sleeker system. But if you want a really good budget phone, try to get something with the 410, because battery life and performance should be really nice. And I see this, for example, one of the right now best overall all-around 410 devices would be the Samsung Galaxy A5, and I see people getting more and more interested in again for some reason, because I noticed a little bit of a spike in terms of my views on this review, because one of my friends actually bought it after his Nexus 5 broke. And he's so much happier with this, but on paper you would say it is a lot slower and all that. But no, the performance is fine. With Lollipop it seems to be very good. Multitasking with 2 GB in this device is fine. The device is built really solid, really premium, great camera, great 720p display. He thinks looks way better than the 1080p did on the Nexus 5. So that is definitely one to look out for if you want something more premium, but maybe not pay too much but not get the cheapest one. So it's a really nice mid-ranger. Maybe in terms of specs there are better devices available, but the premium feel and the overall qualities are really nice. So let's go into that. The next thing would be what I expect from the next MacBook Pro 13, because we have Skylake now, and there is a need for a Skylake version on the MacBook. And what I think will be needed from Apple to get a little bit more of a hand back from what we got from Microsoft, because Microsoft released the Surface Book and the Surface Pro 3, and they have to compete against that. But what they have to do is, actually I'm not quite sure what they will actually do, but they need a definitely new design, because the old one is too old now. They use it for about 2 years now. They need smaller bezels, even though I don't have an issue with the ones on my MacBook. It's fine, but that's the trend. And when I talked to Dell, they said on the Express 13, the smaller body, the smaller bezels make up for a few trade-offs they had to do, like for the camera and all that. So I think the new MacBook Pro 13 will be definitely smaller in terms of bezels. It has to be more lightweight, but I really hope they don't make it too thin and get something like the MacBook 12, yeah, the 12 version, the keys, because I found them to be bad. So that will be needed. USB Type-C, more ports than on the MacBook 12, newest Skylake. And I think this time they will actually have to integrate somehow an NVIDIA card into the MacBook that usually didn't have one. Only the 15-inch version had. I think this time the 13-inch version will have one as well. Otherwise, they just won't be able to compete in terms of performance, because more and more 13 inches get an integrated graphics cards from NVIDIA or something like that in their laptops. And if it wants to be the productivity, the pro device, I think it will be needed, and the Iris won't be enough anymore. But that's it for one more thing. Anthony Bourdain, if you don't know about him, just Google him. He does TV, like cooking shows, but not cooking, but traveling and eating and all that. For at least, I think it's like 20 years now. He had many different shows, like The Layover. Now he has Parts Unknown. Then he had his original version. And I think he did like at least 4 or 5 different TV shows, because he always switches channels. But whatever he does, it's pretty much always the same. He travels to a town or a region, goes around, checks the food, checks the people, checks the culture and all that. I really love him because he's an awesome guy. He's legit. He seems genuine. He seems really honest, but still very polite when he talks to all the people from all the different countries and all that. So definitely check all of his content. He's awesome. What else is there to talk about? Because I haven't really prepared much more, and the video is actually looking way too yellow for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, my face. I'm not that yellow. I'm pale. I right now have the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2 9.7, and for right now I use it for like 2 days right now. I am totally blown away by it. The performance is more than just great. Totally fine. The display, wow. The only smaller downside is the sound. Definitely not on an iPad Air 2 level, but the display blows the iPad away. The build quality seems really nice. Battery life seems quite good so far. I got about, I think, 7 hours of screen on time top, or at least close to that. But if you plan on gaming with that, just forget that, and I will bash it very hard for that in my review, because what it does, it not use the original resolution of 2048 by 1536. It uses, I think, half of it, because it looks like a really bad 1080 1024 display. So the resolution is way cranked down, I think, because the SoC wouldn't be able to handle games with the original native resolution. But man, you will see this on the video, the games look horrible. They are so extremely pixelated. And if you use, and I will show this, I will make a face-off between the iPad Air 2 and the Samsung Galaxy Tab S2, yeah, side by side, and you will definitely see a difference in terms of the graphics qualities. It's so bad. What else? Monitor review will be up. I should get a cheap $60 Android tablet. It's right now in customs. I hope they did get my mail, because they wanted to get a receipt for what I paid, and I said I didn't, because to review it I get it for free. So I didn't hear anything back. And to actually cut off this video, I have to mention one thing. We have October. It was actually my birthday yesterday, and no, I didn't celebrate it. Why? Because I haven't celebrated my birthday since I'm 12, because I am absolutely against any celebrations at all. I don't celebrate anything. I just don't see the necessity for it, no matter what anniversary it is. And my birthday, what did I achieve? I managed not to die one more year. So it's not really an accomplishment. I just live. I'm older. That's the thing. And if you want to know how old I am, yeah, I am 34. Yes, super old, especially in the YouTube business. And I feel kind of way too old for doing it, but kind of way too young in terms of experience. I mean, just in making the videos, not the rest. But I don't feel like I am, because you see so many 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds that do a so much more professional job. So in terms of maturity, I am definitely not there. But that's not the case. But I wanted to also, one thing there is to mention. Let's quickly check. I got a notification. Yeah, there's this crazy guy who commented the same comment like 6 times and replied to himself with the same comment. October 2015 was the worst month I've had in the future. I mean the back. I can remember. It was terrible. Totally shitty month. Why? First of all, my fridge broke. I had to buy a new one, 800 euros down the toilet, which I could have spent on my new PC build. So $800 lost. My father, by accident of course, crashed into my car. Didn't break a lot, only the back, the taillights, the two, and a little bit of some blemish on the skirt. Not really anything bad. I talked to my insurance, or let's say his. They will pay for the crash, and the thing is, they got me the offer. We either repair it, you don't have to pay anything, or we get you the money to repair it. And when I heard what it actually I will get 770 euros. But when I was at my car dealer, he said it will need about 200 to 300 to repair it. So I thought, yeah, let's take these 400 and maybe invest it in a new monitor or in the PC again. But something other happened, something I won't talk about, and this is possibly somewhere where I have to pay another $600, but I won't get anything. That's like I was blamed for something, and maybe I will have to pay for it. I'm not really going to do it because I'm a bit ashamed of it. So I did something bad, not harmful to anyone, but something stupid that will cost me maybe $600. So karma is a bitch, a fucking bitch, because actually I wanted to talk to my brother about that, because there is this thing. Whenever I get sometimes lucky with anything and get a little bit money from anything, I instantly, almost on the same day or maybe 1 or 2 days later, get something that happens to me that I will have to pay for and lose it. Because it was once again the first time when I was like, I think 12 years, I played the lottery, which I was allowed to, but I never did on my own. I only did it with my father together, but I did it on my own, and I won 100 euros. It was D-Mark, Deutsche Mark back then, and I was super happy. And what happened? One day later, I drove with my bike and crossed the street. One car backed and drove into me, broke, and drove off, because I didn't back then notice even that something was broken. But that car still drove off. And what did the repair of the bike cost? 110 euros, D-Mark. It's not, it's not. So you see the point. I got 100, had to pay even more. Now I get about maybe 400 over, have to pay 600. So I'm really not that lucky. And there are a few smaller things in the background that happened that just did put me off very well. So it was definitely not a great month. In some respect it was good, but in some definitely not. But I will end this video because it's already way too long. The upload will take too long. You will see this video on Monday. I was recording it on Sunday, but I will upload it the whole day, I think, because the review of the Huawei MediaPad M2 needed like, I think, 8 hours. Boom. So, okay.